ऋषभानुष्टुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
पतरुभ्यश्च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः।
नमो नमः।
जय श्री
श्री
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
चैतन्य
चैतन्य
प्रभु
प्रभु
नित्यानंद
नित्यानंद
श्री
श्री
अद्वैत
अद्वैत
गदाधर
गदाधर
श्रीवासादि
श्रीवासादि
गौरभक्तवृंद।
गौरभक्तवृंद।
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
हरे
कृष्णा
हरे
हरे
हरे राम
हरे राम
राम हरे
राम
हरे हरे
राम
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, everybody. We are doing Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are now in chapter 5. Chapter 5 is called Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. And we are now doing text 3. Uh, uh, our mentor for today is Path Prabhuji. Is it Parivartan Prabhuji today, our mentor?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So our mentor today is Prabhuji, and he's from Nairobi. Prabhuji, Path Prabhuji, you'll introduce him, but let us first offer our humble obeisances and welcome him to the group on behalf of everybody and all the devotees from everywhere in the world. Now this has become an international group. Prabhuji, we all offer our Dandavat pranams to you. So, welcome to our group as a mentor. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Path Prabhuji, just give us some brief introduction.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji,
First, let me correct the name is Param Gopal Prabhu. He's
Param.
initiated by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj.
Hare
He's-
Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna.
He's been with us for a very long time. His mother was also initiated, and he's with ISKCON for a long time. I personally feel maybe Param Gopal himself should give a little introduction about himself. Would be better. This part knows.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Um, in this lifetime, it appears I started pretty late, almost 20 years ago. That's like almost 28 years of my life. I wasn't much in Krishna consciousness, but then Banki Bihari has very sweetly, tricked me into Krishna consciousness over here in Nairobi. It's almost 20 years we've been associated with the temple and the activities. Yeah.
Prabhuji, that's more than us. I have wasted 57 years of my life. So we are grateful to have you amongst us. I was requested by Prahlad that he would like to be the host for today. Prahlad, would you like to be the host? I was told by Path Prabhuji. Or can I continue? Prahlad?
If today is fine, yeah, I can do it.
Okay, continue then. I'm here in case if there's a problem.
Okay.
So that everybody can learn to do it. So Hare Krishna, Prahlad will be the host for today.
Okay, Hare Krishna everyone.
नाही आता दुसरा लावलाय मी परम गोपालचा क्लास लावला लावतो उमापतीचा उमापती राहून द्या मला नाही ऐकायचं.
So I have muted everybody and I'll just unmute Prahlad. Prahlad, you can unmute yourself, and Prabhuji, when you can unmute yourself as well.
Okay, Hare Krishna everybody. I believe last time we stopped at text 3, if I'm not wrong.
So we did
So
two
yeah,
yesterday. So today is text 3.
Yes, chapter 5, text 3. To those who may have not been there yesterday or may have forgotten, first we'll choose someone to read the entire shloka. Usually it's Sashwin. So Sashwin, could you please read the entire shloka?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Neyasa nitya sannyasi yo na dvesti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukam bandhat pramuchyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shashwin. Now we will do line by line and everyone will repeat. So I'm picking at random. Snehal Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Do you have the Gita? Could you please read the line by line and then we'll repeat after you.
Okay. Can you give me a moment, please? I'm just stepping into the house. I was traveling. Okay.
Prahlad, give
No,
her
no
some
problem.
time. Give somebody else to read till then she
Okay.
can be the second reader.
Soni Mataji, Hare Krishna. Well, if she's not there,
Can
we
I
could give.
volunteer? Can I volunteer?
Oh yes, sure, Mataji.
Okay, so I'll read one line and then all of you please unmute and repeat after me. Neyasa nitya sannyasi
Neyasa nitya sannyasi
yona deshtina kanksati
yena dvestati na kangsati
nirdvandyo hi mahabaho
nidvanda hi mahabaho
sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
sukham bandhat pramyuchyate.
Maybe Snehal Mataji is ready now. So,
I'm here now. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I read the translation now, word by word.
Oh, no, just line by line, please.
So
Hello.
Mataji, read the text.
Haribol
Mataji,
Mataji.
Yedmensa nitya sannyasi
Sannyasi.
yo na dveshti na kankshati
Sannyasi.
nidvandvo hi mahabaho
Nirvandvo
sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
Sukham bandhat pramyuchyate.
Richa Mataji, Hare Krishna. Could you do the line by line? Then we can.
Oh, sorry, Prahlad, I have to interrupt. When we
Yes.
have guest speakers, can we hand it over to the guest, please? That's the etiquette. He's not going to wait for everyone line by line. You have
Okay,
all
okay.
had enough time to do things on your own. I invited him. He's a very busy person. Hand it over to him, please.
Yes, sure. Then in that case, I hand it over to you, Your Grace Parivatan Das, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prahlad, are you the one in Mombasa?
Yes, but we came back to Nairobi just recently, a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
that's very nice. That's very nice. I hear you have grown 6.5 feet tall.
Oh, that's not yet. That's not yet. I'm aiming for
Okay.
that, but I'm 6. I'm 6 now.
That's good. Okay. I think we can still volunteer some. Haribol? Yeah. I was saying we can still have someone to read the translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada.
Okay,
Prahlad,
okay.
can you read for us?
Yeah, I'll just read the translation and someone else can do the purport. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. Almighty armed Arjuna. So I guess from there, Richa Mataji can do the purport.
Hari Bol, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
One who is fully in Krishna consciousness is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the results of his actions. Such a renouncer, dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is qualitatively and quantitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. Knowledge that one is one in quality yet different in quantity is correct. Transcendental knowledge leading one to become fully full in himself, having nothing to aspire to or lament over. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities, he is liberated, even in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mataji. Um, Thank you for giving me this opportunity to associate with so many devotees. It's my pleasure to be back with you all. And I'm sure there are more newer devotees. I haven't known them before, but still, this is the international society for us. Now with the pandemic in its second wave, we find there is more and more opportunities for devotees to connect together. And I'm very thankful to the host for arranging this wonderful program, which has been pretty regular. I always get messages from Mansiganga Mataji. Unfortunately, I sleep at 8 o'clock, so I don't attend any programs after 8. But on a special request from Mansiganga Mataji, I take this opportunity to express a few points which Srila Prabhupada is making so intensely in his purports. And the most important point over here Srila Prabhupada is trying to bring home for us is the concept of oneness, because most of the different parts of religion which we come across, people are trying to become God. But Srila Prabhupada says, why do you want to become God? You can become the father of God. You can become the mother of God. In those relationships, you will get much more enjoyment because it's an inherent quality that we want to be controllers. And in that hunt to become the supreme controller, we try out so many various avenues. We try and control a family, we try and control some friends, we try and control maybe things in the office, in the business. Some go on to control countries, things like that. But that oneness of being the supreme controller is something which Srila Prabhupada was so much against. And in his offering to his Guru Maharaj, he said, impersonal calamity thou hast removed. You know, that is what really pleased Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that Srila Prabhupada has actually understood his mission, that impersonality is such a dangerous equation where people think they can merge into God. We hear in the past time, like when Maharaj Yudhishthir, when he is performing the Ratsuya Yagya, and Shishupal, he is Krishna's cousin. When he was born with so many limbs, and he was braying like an ass. That means he was not crying like a small baby, but making noises like a donkey, and everybody was very disturbed, especially his mother. And when Krishna came in front of him, most of his extra arms fell off, and that's the time it was professed that he is going to get killed by Krishna if he continues to insult him more than 100 times at one stretch. In the Ratsuya sacrifice, we hear how Shishupal was very, very, very offended when Krishna was crowned as the person to be worshipped first. So in that Ratsuya Yagya, I mean, we may think like, why did Yudhishthir Maharaj arrange for a Ratsuya Yagya, which is more principally for worshipping demigods? And actually, he, being a devotee, wanted to glorify Krishna so that when Brahma, Shiva, and all the other demigods are present in that assembly, the first person to be worshipped, if it is Krishna, then everybody will know that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. He didn't want to actually have a sacrifice for the sake of having a sacrifice where his opulence is shown. He wanted to show the difference to the entire world. What is the difference in uh, in one who is favored by Krishna and one who is not favored by Krishna? Favored by Krishna means he's a worshipper of Krishna, he's a devotee of Krishna. And one who is not favored is one who doesn't worship Krishna. So to establish the supremacy of Krishna, he performs this Rajasuya sacrifice. Everybody was there, and including the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra, Bhisma, Dronacharya, Duryodhan, all these Kauravas also were present in that assembly, including all the demigods. And that's where Yudhishthir Maharaj wanted this to come out. And when Krishna was being worshipped, that time Shishupal didn't say anything because he wanted to prove the whole sacrifice as null and void by bringing out a fault after the sacrifice. So he didn't speak up then. As soon as the sacrifice was concluded and Krishna was worshipped, that's the time he gets up and he says, oh, this Krishna is like this, he's a coward boy, and he ran away from the battle, and he's immoral, he dances with other people's wives. Prabhupada once was told like by a person that how can you worship Krishna? He's dancing with other people's wives. Prabhupada very nicely told him, take care, he may come and dance with your wife also. So here Shishupal is actually blaspheming Krishna, and when he blasphemes him more than the limit, then Krishna very tactfully cuts off his head with the Sudarshan Chakra in such a way that not a single drop would fall in the sacrificial arena. And when this took place, each and every member of that assembly, they could see a light coming out from the dead body of Shishupal and entering into Krishna. Now that is as good as saying merging into one. But in the purpose, it's mentioned how Jay and Vijay, the two doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu and Vaikunta, when they were cursed, they accepted the curse of coming inimically as enemies for 3 births. And this was their final birth, in which Shishupal is now going back home, back to Godhead. So first it appeared as oneness, but because they are devotees, they get promoted further, not just to get that same form as the Lord, but to get his service also. So they went back, and the Rajasuya sacrifice was also very successful. So over here, Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing how when a devotee has this knowledge that he is one with the Supreme One, but not in quantity, just only in quality. That is very important, because Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, he says, we being part and parcel as living entities, we cannot become the whole. We are part of the whole. The whole is Krishna. So he says very clearly over here He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. When someone is situated in this constitutional position, in this understanding of his constitutional position, then he is complete in his knowledge. And this knowledge helps us to make progress in our Krishna consciousness. So over here, Prabhupada is calling these two qualities, so rather two qualifications, that he neither hates nor desires. So when a devotee doesn't hate or nor desires any of his fruits of his activities, that's the time he feels he can be in that state of renouncement. In principle, there is very little to renounce because we didn't come with anything. We found things over here and we are going to leave things back over here. So over here, when Krishna is telling Arjuna that he's always to be known as a renounced person, yeah. So he is not associating himself with whatever he finds. He doesn't hate it or he doesn't desire for them. That is the point which Krishna is driving over here when he says renounced, because in principle we didn't come with anything, so there's nothing which we own, so we cannot renounce. And we can see how Srila Prabhupada is also trying to bring this point in our understanding, that to overcome this bondage, material bondage, one has to be free from dualities. This whole world is all about dualities. There is heat, there is cold, there is happiness, there is distress. There are so many different types of dualities which we come across. In today's world, we have dual SIM phones, we have dual fuel vehicles, we have the hybrid vehicles which move on fuel as well as of duality is the whole process of Krishna consciousness. And one who is interested only in the transcendental loving devotional service is the one who can make progress and overcome these. In principle, if you see a materialistic person, he has only 3 topics which he is interested in. The 3 topics which he's interested, first is romance. He likes to have romantic affairs. So Krishna has actually given us the biggest of examples as his childhood pastimes in Vrindavan, where he was dancing with hundreds and thousands of gopis. So a materialistic person will be looking for romance in life. But Krishna has given the supreme of all those. And the second topic which a materialist is interested is politics. Now, politics, like we all know, there's something going on right now in US. In each and every country, there is politics. But Krishna, he gives the ultimate level of politics for us to actually enjoy. When Krishna plays politics, it's called Mahabharat. And I think some years ago, 25, 30 years ago, there was a serial which was made. The entire television industry in India, they were doing a few shows here and there, but they wouldn't get the popularity of the masses. So they said, oh, what is so dear to the Indians? Dharma. So what should we do? Make a TV serial on Dharma. So they made Mahabharat. And when they made Mahabharat, probably it broke all records in the entire world to have the highest number of viewers. No other television series in the entire world, in whatever language it may be, had more viewers than Mahabharata. So when Krishna does it, he does it grand style. So materialistic people are interested in romance, they're interested in politics, and the third thing is sports. So if we read Krishna book, we will see how much fun Krishna and his friends were having in in playing all the games which we can ever imagine. There are some which we don't even know and we have not even played. Krishna and his friends, they would go into the forest and they would mimic each and every bird, animal, how they make noises, how they stand, their posture, everything. There are beautiful paintings also of Krishna and his friends trying to give poses like the peacock, and so many different games they would be playing. So Krishna is giving us that opportunity also, because these are the three topics which a materialistic person is very much interested in. And Krishna is giving us the complete satisfying option in Krishna consciousness, all three of them. When we say romance, when Krishna was dancing, each and every materialist, no matter how much he is intoxicated with material way of life, he is very much interested in hearing the Rasa Leela. And that's why people go for Bhagavad Saptah. People jump into the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because they want to know about romance, how Krishna was dancing with so many gopis. So Krishna, knowing that this is the disease, he has given us the necessary antidote for it also, so that we can become fully Krishna conscious. So over here, Prabhupada is also using one word about sannyas. What exactly does it mean to be a sannyasi? There are 4 different types of sannyasis. In the very first stage, when one gives up material way of life, he stays just outside the village, and his family and villagers, they come and take care of him. That is one kind of sannyas. He has given up active work at home, but now he's just depending on these people. Then we have the second type of sannyasi who does not depend now on the family and the villagers. He travels outside his place, and in terms of preaching. And the third type is a Paramhamsa, where he goes, Parivakaracharya, where he goes and preaches all over the world the message of Krishna consciousness, from one village to other village to another country also. Then finally we have the Paramhamsas. Now these Paramhamsas, after having accomplished all their preaching, they come back and sit down in Vrindavan and do their bhajan. So these are the 6 Goswamis. Srila Prabhupada explains. So the Paramhamsa stage of sannyas is not about neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities. Now Paramhamsa stage is where the devotee has accomplished everything possible required in spreading Krishna consciousness. Now then they come and sit down and they do their bhajan. So Prabhupada, in another book, which is called Bhagavad Gita as it is, further explained by Srila Prabhupada in his lectures, he says something very nice. He says, Arjun, you are asking about the difference between karma yoga and sannyas. There is no such difference. Whether you become a karma yogi means you simply work for Krishna, then you are better than a sannyasi. A man who is fully alert that whatever I'm earning and whatever I'm doing is meant for Krishna. Oh, Prabhupada says that's a practical man. So whichever position we may be in, whether we are a grahastha or we are a sannyasi, it doesn't matter. Prabhupada says you can attain the highest perfection. You can attain the highest perfection in any position, provided that you are Krishna conscious. And the only way we can judge this is that a person who, not by his dress. Srila Prabhupada often says that, wearing a sannyasi's dress, in India, you can just get cheap orange color and dye your clothes orange. You don't become a sannyasi by changing your dress. It is by one's activities. So Prabhupada was insisting that, most of his sannyas disciples, there was once somewhere in South India, there was a pujari in one of those big temples. He said, Srila Prabhupada, why are you initiating this European bodied, white-bodied boys into sannyas? They will not be able to keep the vows, which are required for sannyas. Srila Prabhupada said, don't worry. The purpose of me giving them sannyas is not just for them to to continue with their vows. My purpose is for them to spread Krishna consciousness. And what they will spread Krishna consciousness in the 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, whatever they can maintain these vows, will be more than what you can achieve in 5 lifetimes. That much contribution these guys are going to give. So that's why Prabhupada was giving sannyas, irrespective, because he knew that these boys, they could do so much of wonderful service for Krishna. So when we say one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities, Srila Prabhupada says, like in the West, suppose somebody is washing dishes. That doesn't matter that I have to hate that I have to wash these dishes. Especially in the West, I've seen also personally that students, whether they're in Oxford, they're in Cambridge, or they're studying in MIT or Harvard, wherever they are, they support themselves by looking for jobs. Even in restaurants, they do steward jobs in restaurants, and they don't hate that. And if a person is doing a job which may appear to be lowly as such, but Prabhupada also says dignity of labor is always nice, irrespective. Somebody has to do that job, whether it is cleaning dishes or it is sweeping the floor, somebody has to do it. And if somebody is earning money even with those lowly kind of jobs, he still can offer the fruits of those jobs to Krishna. When he engages that Lakshmi, what he has earned in Krishna's service, then there is no bondage which will come about. Bondage comes when we want to keep things for ourselves, but when we want to engage, Prabhupada gives very nice examples in his purpose. He says, well, just like a father, it's his birthday, and his son may come up with some gift which the mother said, okay, we go buy. It's the father who is earning, he's giving the money to the mother, and the mother inspires the child to buy something as a gift for the father. So that gift which has been bought by the son, the father knows this is my own money, but he feels good because it has been offered by love. The child is giving something, he's given a thought, he chose something for his father. Prabhupada says similarly, the whole world has been created by Krishna. When he has created this whole world for us, only pious souls, they are going to collect the riches and the treasures of this world and again offer it to Krishna. When that is offered, Krishna is so happy, just like a father when he is offered a small gift by his son. And the best way to stay out of this kind of bondage is to offer. Krishna is telling Arjuna that you offer the fruits of your activities. Many times we think only sannyasis or brahmacharis or those who have been in the movement can be more renounced. But renunciation is not about how many years or which ashram one may be. There's a very nice pastime from the life of Sripad Ramanujacharya. Now, Sripad Ramanujacharya, he is coming in the lineage of Yamunacharya. He's the Acharya of the Sri Sampradaya. Now, Sri Sampradaya is known for Vaishnava Seva. For when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also visited in South India, he picked this principle of serving Vaishnavas and he gave it to us in our Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya also to inculcate what is exactly Vaishnava Seva. So there was a Brahmin disciple of Sripad Ramanujacharya. He didn't know much, so he one day just approached Sripad Ramanujacharya and said, I'm a Brahmin and I would like to take initiation from you. I don't know much about what exactly this process is. So Sripad Ramanujacharya said, no problem. He could understand this guy is a very nice, humble Brahmin. So Sripad Ramanujacharya told him, I'm giving you a service. Every day you wash your feet and give me that water. I want to sprinkle on my head. So he said, oh, Guru has given me the instruction. It's very difficult. If he were not that simple, he would have never agreed for it. But he said, oh, this is my Guru's instruction. So I will make sure I give you, he promises Sripad Ramana, that every day I will offer you this water which has washed my feet, and then only I will take my prasad. And he was doing it religiously every day. One day, Sripad Ramanacharya, he had to go to some other village for preaching with. And this Brahmin disciple, he waited from morning till evening, night, when Sripad Ramanacharya came back to the ashram. He saw this Brahmin disciple, he is still waiting. Sripad Ramanacharya said, what happened? Why are you still waiting? He said, Guru Maharaj, I have not given you my foot wash. Please accept it, and then I can go and take prasad. Sripad Ramanacharya was touched by the humility of this, humility and simplicity of this disciple, who did not hate doing what others would have dreaded, offering foot wash to his own Guru Maharaj. He's just following instruction, and he did not desire anything in exchange for it. Similarly, there's another pastime in the teachings of Sripad Ramanujacharya. This is on the principle of attachment. When we look at many times brahmacharis look at grahasthas and they think, oh, these people are so fallen, they are so much into sense gratification, they cannot control their senses, they need to go out for picnics and they need to do this and shopping and all that. But Sripad Ramanujacharya, we see a very nice pastime where I'll take you back from into the pastime slightly a bit earlier. There was this procession which was taking place in Sri Rangam, and Sri Rangam is hosting the world's largest temple of Ranganathji. And Ranganathji comes out on procession once a year, and that procession was taking place. Sripad Ramanacharya, all the disciples, they were taking part in it, and while they were going on procession, Sripad Ramanacharya saw a man standing with an umbrella and a fan. He was shielding a beautiful looking lady from the sun, and he was fanning her and just looking deeply into her eyes. And he was so enamored by this beauty that he just did not even care. He didn't even know what's going on. He was completely oblivious. He didn't know what is happening around him. Such a big procession is taking place. Lord Ranganath has come out himself, and this guy is just fanning that beautiful lady. So Sripad Ramanujacharya saw and said, this guy is so intoxicated by the beauty of this lady. So he sent some of his disciples and told him, please call this man here. And when he was told that Sripad Ramanujacharya is calling him, so he just excused that lady and went. Sripad Ramanujacharya said, are you so shameless? Do you not see the Lord has come out on procession? He said, no, I have not seen anything more beautiful. I have seen so many beautiful sights in this world, but I have not seen the beauty which is there in those two eyes of my lady. So Sripad Ramanacharya asked, are you married? He said, no, I'm not married, but I cannot love anybody more than this lady. Sripad Ramanacharya said, what if I show you something more beautiful than this lady? He said, oh, if you show, then I will give up my attachment for this lady as such. So Sripad Ramanacharya told him, okay, today in the evening, please come to my ashram. And Sripad Ramanacharya took him in the evening for the Arti Darshan of Sri Ranganathji. So that room is pretty hot and it's dark. Only the lamp, the ghee lamp which is being offered, lights up the place. And when the pujari lit it up and he was offering, Sripad Ramanacharya, being a pure devotee, he could give that transcendental vision to this man who had been enamored by the beauty. His name was Dhanurdas. So Dhanurdas, when he saw the beautiful lotus eye of Ranganath, that beautiful golden lotus eye, he actually fell unconscious and he could not believe that there is anything more beautiful than that lady's eyes. And when he regained his consciousness, Sripad Ramanacharya told him, have you seen anything more beautiful than these two eyes of Ranganath? He said, no, I've never seen. So Sripad Ramanacharya didn't want him to take sannyas. So he told him, because you had so much attachment for this lady, I will get both of you married. So Sripad Ramanacharya gets them married. And this Dhanur Das, not being a Brahmin, he was a wrestler by profession. And Sripad Ramanacharya was bestowing more mercy on him. Especially we find, like, the more sinful we have been, the more mercy is required for us to come to that level of purification. So Sripad Ramanacharya, when he would go for his bath, he would have one of his Brahmin disciples to escort him to the Kaveri, take his bath, and then on his way back, he would take the hand of Dhanur Das and walk back to the ashram. So the other disciples were getting a bit concerned. Look at this. He's a grahastha. He's known for, so much of sense enjoyment and all. How can Guru Maharaj give him so much of significance and so much of mercy also in a way, holding his hand and walking back to the ashram? Sripad Ramanacharya could sense that my disciples are having a misunderstanding on the position of this disciple, Dhanur Das, their godbrother. So Sripad Ramanacharya, that evening, he arranged, while everybody was sleeping in the middle of the night, he got up and he tore almost 1 feet high of the dhoti for each and every of these brahmacharis. When they woke up in the morning, they were so angry that who has done this, who has torn my dhoti, and everybody, my dhoti, why? And everybody's my. And Sripad Ramanacharya just laughed at them and said, he said, anyway, you please get dressed and come. I want to have a discussion with you guys. And when they all sat down in front of Sripad Ramanacharya, Ramanacharya said, I've been observing this disciple of mine, Dhanur Das. I think he's a bit too attached in his grahastha life, and we need to see how to help him. But before that, I want you guys to get me a confirmation. He's so enamored by the beauty of his wife, how he arranges for so many ornaments to decorate her body. And so let's do this. Today, when he comes in the evening to have darshan with me and discuss Harikatha, I want you, brahmacharis, to go and steal the ornaments of his wife. So the brahmacharis, they went, and the door was kept open because Dhanur Das was going to come back. And his wife was not exactly sleeping, but she could sense, and she saw these brahmanas, and she could understand, these are my god brothers and they're from the temple. Looks like, I don't know, why have they come here? So she just laid pretending as though she's sleeping. And they came and they started stealing her ornaments. So she was a bit concerned, why are they stealing? And she was just meditating on the holy name and the instructions of her Guru Maharaj Sripad Ramanacharya, and thinking how I can be of service, because maybe the temple is in need of money that these brahmacharis are coming to steal ornaments. And they finished stealing one side of her ornaments. So she turned around so that they can steal the other side of the ornaments also. But they got scared that probably she's gotten up. So they ran away. So they ran away and they hid in the ashram. And they signaled to Ramanacharya that, yes, we have accomplished the mission. Let us send Dhanur Das and see what the reaction is. So Dhanur Das went back home, and these brahmacharis, the god brothers, they also went, and they were hiding and watching the drama which is going to take place. So when Dhanur Das gets home, he tells his wife, what's this? You've got half your jewelry on, on the left side it's there, on the right side it's not there. What happened? She said, the brahmacharis from the temple, they came and they were stealing. So I was pretending to sleep and I wanted to offer all the jewels, all the jewelry. So I turned around. When I turned around, they got scared and they left. So Dhanur Das said, this is your illusion. Please come out of it. You thought that you are giving your ornament. These ornaments are not yours. These are given by Krishna. So because you were thinking that you are giving these ornaments to the brahmacharis, that is your illusion. And she was also humble enough to accept it. Not that she said, oh, you don't know. So the brahmacharis were really shocked. They were shocked on the level of detachment the husband and wife had. They had no hatred. They had no desire for what they had got in life. The riches, the jewels, the jewelry, the mercy of the spiritual master, they didn't have any hatred towards what they had in terms of possession. Now, the brahmacharis went back to Sripad Ramanacharya. Sripad Ramanacharya asked them, so what did you see? They said, oh, they were lamenting why we could not offer everything to Krishna. So Sripad Ramanacharya asked them, now, can you please judge what happened the other night when your dhotis were torn and what happened with Dhanudas? Who is detached? Who is a renounced person? Is it you or Dhanudas? So renouncement is not based on one's ashram, but it is based on one's activities. That is what we are seeing in this verse, very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada. So we should always keep that in mind. What has come in our life is not by our own hard work as such. Yes, we have to work. Not that Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita discourse to Arjuna and told him, okay, fine, now you sit down on the chariot. I will do what is necessary in this battlefield. I'll kill everybody. No. Arjuna still had to fight. In the beginning, Arjuna hated. He didn't want to fight. He gave so many excuses. Something which we hate to do, especially we find like, in our professional life also, or even our domestic life, we are told to do something. Can you help peel the potatoes? If you don't like, you will give so many excuses because you hate doing it. So Arjuna also hated. He didn't want to fight. He gave so many excuses to Krishna. But then when he heard the Bhagavad Gita, then he said, yes, I will do whatever you tell me, Krishna. So he accepted and he had to do some activity. So we all have to, work for something, but we should not hate it because end of the day, we need to maintain ourselves also. And the best way to maintain ourselves is to keep that consciousness that whatever I'm doing it as a service for Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami, he says, renouncing something which could be used in Krishna's service is incomplete renunciation. Because if it can be used in Krishna's service, then you should not renounce it. You can accept it. Srila Prabhupada used to often say, like, in the olden days in India, if a sannyasi would cross the ocean, he was considered fallen. But Srila Prabhupada said, no. In the purpose of preaching Krishna consciousness, we can go anywhere and use anything in Krishna's service. The microphone, the cars, the plane. Prabhupada said, if this was Maya, then how could I travel 14 times all over the world and spread Krishna consciousness? So in simple words, I think Prabhupada has given us the best process of not being bound materially by the fruits of our results, by engaging everything in Krishna's service. There was a very nice small article I was reading in which Srila Prabhupada says, most of these rich people, they want to give up family life, retire, put some millions and millions of rupees in the bank, and they come to Vrindavan and they're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But Krishna is not going to allow them to enter into his pastimes until and unless they give up the benefit which they think they're going to get or their family members are going to get from the hundreds and thousands and millions of shillings which have been kept away. You're not engaging them in Krishna's service. You want to have some benefit out of it for yourself, as well as for your family, but not for Krishna. So Krishna will devise a plan and he will take everything away. So it doesn't mean that, this is going to happen to each and every devotee. The whole concept over here, Srila Prabhupada is trying to emphasize is that mood of surrender and dependency on Krishna. It is not that we should not make savings in life. Yes, we should make savings also in life, but with the idea of how to use it in Krishna's service when required. Because by accumulating and accumulating and accumulating, we will not, there is no end to accumulation. It needs to be utilized. And the more we utilize our Lakshmi for Krishna and Krishna's spreading this message of Krishna consciousness, the more it gets purified. And Prabhupada says, people are a bit concerned, because Krishna's one name is Hari. Hari means he will take away everything. But he will take away only things which are not conducive to our progress in Krishna consciousness. It doesn't mean he's going to take away all our wealth. When Krishna gives opulence to his devotee, that is not material. When Krishna gives opulence to his devotee, it is not material. We hear in the story of Sudama, Vipra. In fact, I was just reading that this week, and it's so beautiful how when Sudama, he walks all the way. I mean, he didn't want to actually go and ask something from Krishna, but his wife persuaded, because she was feeling that pain because she could not offer enough prasadam to her husband. And Sudama, he actually accepted to go and beg some alms from his friend because he would be able to have darshan of Krishna. But when he goes there, he is treated so well by Krishna that Sudama he says, what else do I need? The way he has treated me is so wonderful. Krishna washes his feet and sprinkles the water on his head. Rukminiji is fanning him, and Krishna is speaking to him so nicely about various, pastimes they had in their Gurukul days. And that night he eats sumptuously, and when he wakes up in the morning, Krishna tells him, what have you brought from me? You must have brought something from your home. And Sudama was very embarrassed that he had some, 5 handfuls of chipped rice, and that was not good quality. But Krishna actually wanted that. He snatched it from him and he ate 1 handful. The moment he had 1 handful, he was in bliss, and Rukminiji stopped him actually from taking the second one. Rukminiji told Krishna, this 1 handful of chipped rice, what you have eaten, is sufficient to give your devotee vast opulences which even the demigods don't have. By taking another handful, you will be forcing me, the goddesses of fortune, to surrender to this Brahmana and serve him with all the opulence. So please don't have this second handful. And that day when Sudama goes back home, when he's going back home, he has not asked anything for himself. When he's not asked anything, but Krishna knows and Krishna has arranged everything. When he reaches his place, his village, to the spot where his house was, he was shocked. He's look at this beautiful palace. Where does it come from? And then his wife also comes out dressed like a demigoddess. And Sudama is there in his rags. In the purpose, the Acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that Krishna did not change Sudama because he wanted his wife to be able to recognize him. If he would have also dressed up like a demigod, then she would have not recognized him. So when she comes out, Sudama's wife, she's also she knows that this is definitely the blessings and the mercy of Dwarkadish Krishna, who has changed our entire life and given us the riches. And all throughout his walk back to his village, Sudama was thinking that Krishna is so merciful. Because I am not a pure devotee, he has helped me by not tricking me into this allurements of material wealth and opulence. But when he reaches home, he sees all this opulence, then he feels more uh, what word can I use? He feels more despondent that, I didn't qualify for pure devotional service. That's why Krishna is giving me some material opulence. I have fallen from my position. I could have got pure devotional service, unflinching pure devotional service for him. So we see in this pastime also how Sudama has been given so much, but he's not attached. He continues to live in that palatial arrangement and goes back home, back to Godhead, but without being attached to the fruits which have been offered to him by Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I think we haven't left much time. It's 2 minutes to 9, but we can still take some questions or comments. Please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. You did transport us back to Krishna and Sudama land, and we all lost track of time as well. So thank you very much. I can start with a question and then other devotees can follow. Prabhuji, in this purport, it is written, having nothing to, so knowledge that is one in quality, yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire or to lament over. So we understand nothing to lament over. But should we not have aspirations? We have understood now that we are a part of him, and though not, yes, in quality, but not in quantity. And we should not lament for anything. That we have understood. But what about aspirations? Should we not aspire for growth, personal growth?
Hare Krishna. That's a very nice question. Mataji, when Prabhupada is mentioning over here that has nothing to aspire to or lament over, yeah, he is talking about in terms of material things, that aspiration which is there. Because once somebody has got this foundational knowledge, this constitutional position that I am the eternal Jiver Swarup Hoy Nitya Krishna Das, that I am an eternal servant of Krishna. And when he acts in that relationship, then he has nothing. I'll tell you something very personal. My boss usually tells me, you have no ambition left now. I don't know, he's kind of sensing it that, I don't want to become like one of the directors or like, join the board or something like that. So he personally says, you don't have much ambition. It's something which I can confess. Yes, I don't have that aspiration, become a general manager, become this, that, whatever I'm doing like that. So that aspiration will not be there to excel in material things, but that aspiration to become a more servant of the servant of the servant, that aspiration is very good. But material aspirations will come down. It is not that, one can become desireless. We still will have desires, but our desires, our aspirations, they should be channeled to Krishna. When we have this knowledge and we apply that knowledge, that we are qualitatively one with Krishna, being his servants, so then we can actually make progress and we will not lament over anything. The only lamentation, like you said, in the beginning of the lecture, I said 28 years I was not in Krishna consciousness. That lamentation is also very helpful. That lamentation is there. The word Vaikunta has been translated. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, Vaikunta means no anxiety. But that is material anxiety. No anxiety for how to get school fees, how to get a house, how to get a car, how to get a job, how to get children educated, get them married. Those anxieties are not there. But in the spiritual world, there is anxiety. There is anxiety. Once I was hearing this wonderful lecture in which Bhakti Damodar Swami Maharaj was talking about this verse which Rupa Goswami has written. Shripad Rupa Goswami writes, I do not know how much nectar these two syllables Krishna have brought. When those two syllables enter when those two syllables dance on my tongue, I desire hundreds and thousands of tongues. And those two syllables, Krishna, when they enter my ear, I desire millions and millions of years. When those two words, Krishna, two syllables, enter my heart, it conquers my senses and makes them inert. So Maharaj was saying, is that not anxiety? To have hundreds and thousands of tongues, to have millions and millions of years, so that you can relish the holy name. So Vaikuntha means no material anxiety. Spiritual anxiety, yes. Yashoda Mai, Rohini Mata, they were in anxiety. Krishna and Balram, they were running around, and they were cows and cows in the courtyard. They were hardly crawling. They would run after this, run after that. They would be always in anxiety. What if a monkey came and bit? Even today, when we go to Vrindavan, we are grown-ups, we are scared, especially like, Mataji, you and me, we wear specs. I have actually kept my specs aside. We always have that anxiety. A monkey may come and take our specs in Vrindavan. So those kind of anxieties are there. In the spiritual sense, those anxieties make us tangible progress towards Krishna. Yashoda Mai is an anxiety. Is Krishna going to get pierced by some thorns and stones in the jungle? Has he eaten? Has he taken sufficient rest? That anxiety is very good in connection with Krishna. But anxiety for our personal own, how am I going to pay mortgage? How am I going to do this? Those anxieties are not good. So yes, over here, aspiration and lamentation. Till the time they're on the material platform, it is not conducive for our Krishna consciousness. The moment we have those aspirations, how to build this temple, how to contribute for this, how to help in that spreading of Krishna consciousness, these are good aspirations. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I know we have over-exceeded our time, but if you don't mind, Prabhuji, there is a question from Richa Mataji. And before she asks a question, I would also like to acknowledge Dr. Vishal Agrawal, who has joined us today, all the way from Manchester. And he's a specialist in facial pain management. And today he is among us as well. I just wanted to acknowledge his presence. Okay, Richa Mataji, can you please ask your question?
Hare Krishna, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm sorry I'm taking a lot of time. My question is that when we talk about oneness with Krishna, it is said that the concept is not right, it is incorrect. But then again, at the same time, we can even contradict it by saying that we are still part and parcel of Krishna. It means Krishna, Paramatma, is there in our hearts. So some people might ask a question, then what is the need to go back to Godhead? Why is there a need to go back to where Krishna is? Because Krishna is already here. This is Krishna's world. He has created it. That is my question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful question, Mataji. Thank you so very much. Yes, this kind of question, and maybe if I am able to answer it properly, will give us more conviction why we should go back home, back to Godhead, where Krishna is. If we see the pastime of the Rath Yatra, just today I was reading in Srimad Bhagavatam, now Krishna and Balram, they have gone to Kurukshetra to observe the eclipse, the complete solar eclipse. And usually eclipse and other, even Ekadasi are pretty inauspicious in nature. But by observing them in complete Krishna consciousness, chanting more rounds, observing fast, and doing some sacrifices, best is the Harinam sacrifice, Harinam Yajna, then we actually make those inauspicious things become auspicious. So over there, the residents of Vrindavan also, they come and they all meet with Krishna after ages. Krishna left Vrindavan when he was hardly 10, 11 years old. And now they are seeing him as Dwarkadish with so many beautiful queens. And when they come over there, the whole meditation of the gopis over there is to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. So to take Krishna back to Vrindavan, they actually make chariots within their hearts, and with the ropes of their vision, with their eyes, they're pulling back Krishna to that place in Vrindavan. Because they know for sure there is only one place where Krishna can actually experience that unlimited, uninterrupted spiritual bliss in reciprocating with the love of his devotees. That is Vrindavan. Because, I mean, they are there with him, just like Paramatma is here with us right now also. But this is not the natural way where he and we could actually reciprocate and have that uninterrupted, unlimited bliss, which is Krishna's, which is possible in the spiritual world. In this material world, we will always find different types of impediments. Even if we are feeling happy, like, somebody likes rasgullas, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can have so many of those. And I'm sure we may have had that experience. We eat something which we love so much, and the next day it becomes, we just don't want to see it also. Because that's the nature of this material world. Nothing can give us that kind of pleasure which we are seeking. Because being part and parcel of Krishna, we also have that infinite symbol, but that 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 hunt for pleasure, of unlimited pleasure. In, like, there are people who like to take intoxication, and they think they feel like they're flying also and stuff like that. And how does it end? It ends in a very miserable state, even that day or next day. We all know how these things have really ruined people's lives. But we, being part and parcel of Krishna, we want to have unlimited bliss. Unlimited means unlimited. And that is not possible within this material sphere. Yes, Krishna has actually made this material sphere so that we can experiment and try and see. When we rebelled against him and said, no, why should you only be glorified? Why should you only be worshipped? I want to be the controller. I want to be the enjoyer. So Krishna said, okay, fine, I will make this world for you. And as a friend, a surid means best friend. Prabhupada says there is bandhu, means a friend, then there is pran bandhu, then there is, there are different levels of friends. A dearmost friend, a friend who does not leave you even if you reject him. Millions and millions and billions of lifetimes we have rejected Krishna, and we have tried to look for that happiness in this material world. But Krishna is so kind. He is still residing in our hearts as Paramatma through various species of life. And he is just waiting. One day, this living entity is going to turn his face away from all this enjoyment and look for my association. So he then guides us. He guides us on how to become how to regain our constitutional position, how to remember, how to come in that knowledge that, yes, we are part and parcel of Krishna. And Prabhupada gives an example, just like the fingers. The fingers are a part and parcel of this body. They cannot act independently. Prabhupada says, if I tell the finger come here, then the finger comes here. It is not that the finger will say, no, I will not come there. So if we as living entities want to experience that unlimited bliss, it is not possible within this material sphere, which has that quality of dwindling over time. This material body also, even the mighty Himalayas, the oceans, everything is going to get annihilated in due course of time. Yeah. So in that kind of a temporary situation, temporary, even if we go to work and somebody's on probation, it's not a comfortable position. Oh, I can get sacked any day. So that temporary thing is not good. And this whole material world he has created in such a temporary way that over a period of time, yes, intelligent, pious person is going to think, yes, I need to get out of this place. This is not where I belong to. I have had it enough. I've seen all this. I've tried every way of becoming happy, but I'm not able to. So he turns to Krishna. And then when he goes back to the spiritual world, that's where he can actually experience all that craving he had for that bliss. So in this material body, there are a lot of impediments. By nature, this material world, we say, dukhalayam shashvatam, like, it's full of miseries. Padam padam bipadam. Every step there is danger. So I remember a very good friend of mine, His Grace Gaurang Prabhu, once he, he was sharing a small, pastime from his preaching years in IIT, where, they would go to IIT hostel and they would give prasad to any devotee who had chanted one round in the previous program. And after some years, about 15, 20 years, he met this same devotee in Hawaii. And this devotee was wearing kantimala, and he just came up wearing dhoti, having bead bag. He said, "Oh, Gaurang Prabhu, do you recognize me?" He said, "I think I have seen you." He said, "Yes, you used to come to our hostel in IIT and used to give us prasad." So he said, "What happened? How come you have become Krishna conscious? Then you had said, why do we have to, they were chanting one round, they would get some prasad, and they wouldn't do two. They said, by chanting one round, we're getting prasad, then why should we chant 16? So that kind of a devotee, now you have taken up to this process so nicely. What happened?" He said, "I did my IIT, then I came for masters over here in US. Some people said, if you do that, then life will be set, you'll be happy. I did my masters. Then even then there was a miserable, kind of life. So somebody said, do your PhD, then you will be happy. So I did my PhD. I do this, do that. So I did so many things, but I was not feeling happy. Then somebody said, why don't you get married? You are alone. That's why you're not happy. So he says, I got married, then all my doubts got cleared. That yes, this place is really a miserable place. And finally, I came to the understanding that Bhagavad Gita, which you had given me then in the hostel, I picked up the Bhagavad Gita and read that shloka about how this material world is a miserable place, where there are three kinds of miseries: miseries caused by our own body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by supernatural powers. Then I could understand that yes, this is the truth, irrespective of what level. Srila Prabhupada writes in um, one of his purpose, he says, irrespective of the standard of enjoyment you're going to have in this material world, end of the day, it's going to be a miserable, pitiful life which you're going to have if you do not take to Krishna consciousness. So irrespective of what standard of living we have, this material, it's like, we can say, Prabhupada says, even if you are the champion swimmer, if you're in the Pacific Ocean, you are in danger. Even if you're so expert in changing one body to the other, death is not a good experience. It takes away everything, whatever possessions we have. So it is just, it's just more intelligent and rational for us to understand that this place is not where we can derive our true happiness. And if we want to enjoy that true happiness and blissful life, it is only in Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for being with us today and spending some of your valuable time with us. We hope that you can join us again. I will now hand over to Path Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. His Grace Param Gopal Prabhu ki jai. We know Param Gopal Prabhuji is in Nairobi and is a very senior devotee. Already Mansimanga Mataji described his about his and Param Gopal Prabhuji is very eminent devotee, also very senior devotee, and very strictly he's doing his sadhana and teaching also a very vast knowledge in scriptures also. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, Param Gopal Prabhuji. We are so grateful for your association. Also, I thanks to all the devotees. They are patiently join with us, and although there is a time, it's extra time, but still they are joining here. On behalf of ISKCON Eldoret, I request everyone, please unmute everyone, and for glorification of His Grace, Param Gopal Prabhuji and Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees, please chant Hare Krishna mantra once. Please join. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vansha kalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhasya
Sindhubhya
Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 His
Hare
Grace Param
Krishna.
Gopal Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have recorded this session and I will be putting on the YouTube link. Is that okay, Prabhuji? We
Yeah,
have a
Mataji.
YouTube.